Hello, hello beautiful tribe. Welcome to Reclaim Your Peace. Reclaim Your Peace, as you know, is a 12-week meditation program to awaken the heart of ease, peace, joy, vitality, and purpose. It's composed of research-based, time-tested tools that awaken your most authentic or true self within. They're not states of being that you have to attain, but rather they're states of being that we're beginning to uncover. Mindfulness meditation, meditative writing practice, pranayama or breath work, and movement. Along with these time-tested tools, you'll receive one-on-one work with me. And I find that piece helps to sort of speed up the healing that can be accessed through these really effective practices that have changed my life. You can meditate for years and still be stuck in certain blocks merely because you're unconscious of them. You know, like if you can't see what you don't see. So when we begin these practices, it begins to shine the light, begins to illuminate you as you are. You begin to illuminate patterns and make connections. And you also need the guidance of another person who's walked the path, a little bit ahead of you, who can help you reframe or see things that are blocked because of years and years and years of repression or faulty beliefs, negative, mindsets that you just aren't even aware of because it just seems so natural to who you are. I hope that makes sense. So those are the two aspects of the program, the tools and then the guidance. And I find that both put together help really speed the healing along. We use mindfulness meditation, so every week you'll be getting a new guided meditation. And I'm asking you to practice that meditation at least 6 days a week. You can take one day off and you can choose, but I want you to do it now, okay? So think about it. Take out a piece of paper, pause this video if you need to. Make your commitment. What days of the week are you going to be practicing the program? Okay? I find that one day off is actually, it's good. It's good for us to do that. I think of Thich Nhat Hanh's center in the San Diego area, and they have what they call a lazy day. So it's really important that we have that kind of freedom to just let ourselves sort of go where the wind takes us. But other than that, 6 days of meditation practice commit. Decide what day you're going to take off. Another aspect of the program is writing meditation. And many of you may not be familiar with what writing meditation is all about, so let me explain. And if you want more information about this, you can look at Natalie Goldberg's book called Writing Down the Bones. I included a link in the content of your email. But for the writing meditation piece that we're doing for week 1, and anytime I instruct you to do writing meditation, all it means is that you write whatever comes to your mind without censoring, without trying to make it make sense. You're not composing anything that anyone else is going to read. You're not trying to capture any particular idea or explain anything in particular. All right, so if you could sit down and the first thought you have as you pick up your pen is, I feel like shit, then you write, I feel like shit. Or, maybe an image pops up in your mind and you just start with that. But what you're doing there, notice what happens as you're writing, because you're tapping into the nonverbal sort of emotional body world. Natalie Goldberg refers to this process of capturing first thoughts. And so our meditation practice helps us see our thoughts. Writing meditation can help us see them even more clearly. And whenever we can see something more clearly, it creates more space. We're just less reactive around it. There's also the tools of breath work. And so some weeks there'll be a yoga pose or 2 or 3 that I'll ask you to do. So there's the foundational practices of meditation and writing meditation that go together. Although you can separate them out if you need to, it's really great if you can put them together. All right, so we're talking about, in the beginning of the program, setting aside a half an hour to do those 2 practices, and then as we move on, we work up to, sometimes it can be 45 minutes, maybe a little bit more. I highly, highly, highly suggest that you do the foundational practices in the morning. First thing when you wake up, like get out of bed, go to the bathroom, drink some water, maybe bounce around a little bit. You're not going to like it. You're going to want to go back to bed. But develop this sort of very kind discipline. So encourage yourself, remember why you're doing it, that it's good for you, that once you sit, you'll feel better, This is what I'll say to myself some mornings when it's tough. I wake up and I practice what I preach. I wake up an hour before my kids do. My kids are early risers, so that I can do my practices. And I'm very, very disciplined about it because my life goes so much better when I'm doing those things. So try it, and I'm asking you that you do that. And I will be checking in on your progress when we meet for our first meeting. So make sure you're doing it. So if it's just not working for you to do it in the morning for whatever reason, first I'd question that. Like, really? I have 2 little kids. I work, I have a full-time career. Yeah, I have time. So I think you can find time to question your, any excuses you might have around that. No, not everyone's a morning person. I have my mornings when it's just really challenging to get up. But you're building a muscle here, and it's a really important muscle to build. It's one of self-mastery, right? We all want to be masters of who we are. We want to live with mastery. That sounds so young and masculine. Mastery. But it's true, right? I mean, it feels so good to take control of your life, and that's what we're doing here. We're taking control. And the reason it works to do it in the morning is because now you're beginning your day connected and with intention. It will literally change the course of energetically. People relate to you differently, opportunities arise out of nowhere. I've had many, many clients who have these breakthroughs and around their purpose and what they're doing, and they start making blogs and doing things that they never really imagined that they would do, but they're connecting to something really passionate and vital within themselves, and they're called to do that. So Oprah suggests having a morning ritual. All the greats, Wayne Dyer, Stephen Covey, Tony Robbins, and it's very traditional in Buddhist or meditation centers to begin the day with meditation. So I hope I've built a good case for why you want to begin your practice in the morning. We also have transitional practices, and I do this for a very specific reason, because the day gets going, right? And we might be starting in the groove, but then as time wears on, it's really hot today. You can tell, right? I'm kind of oh, I'm a little shiny. Because as we get our day started and the momentum builds, we can lose it. We lose that contact. We get back on that hamster wheel. Maybe, we get stressed, and we have those stress hormones coursing through our body, which a lot of us are just sort of have this, kind of stuck cycle of stress response. There's transitional practices that are more energizing, and yet at the same time are cultivating a sense of calm energy. And then I combine them with various breath work. So you learn some pranayama here, various techniques that have been used to both awaken the energy body and also soothe. So those are the foundational practices, and you'll see those throughout the program. Every week, look in your inbox. On Saturday evening, you'll receive the next week's assignment from me. We did a link here if you still need to schedule a session with me for the first 2. So we have, I want to get everyone's first 2 sessions on the books. If I don't have yours, click the link, and that's in the content of this email, and we'll set up a session. Another option that I highly recommend is in terms of the materials that you'll need. Some of you might be, I would highly encourage you to invest in a meditation cushion or a bench, depending on what you're choosing to use. You can also use a straight back chair, but if you want to use a cushion or a bench, you can check out dharmacrafts.com, and I again left a link in the content of this email so that you can hook yourself up with some supplies for meditation. All of their stuff is great. I also suggest that you set up a home altar space, and I included a link to my article about that in this newsletter, so you can check that out. It's not necessary, but it's a really nice thing to do. My altar is right here. Let me see if you can see it. There it is. Not fancy, right? Just some stuff that really mean a lot to me. I'm in my bedroom, and I often will pull up my cushion here and meditate as my husband sleeps. Set that back up. As my husband sleeps, and sometimes we have a kid or two in our bed. I highly recommend, in addition to the foundational practices and the transition practices, meaning the transition practices you'll practice at some point during your day, I recommend a nice time to do it is after work, before you go home, but pick a time in the afternoon or maybe evening, sort of in that time of transition so you can replenish, settle, and reconnect. In addition, I highly recommend that you get the book for this first 2 months, Tara Brach's Radical Acceptance. The link is also included in the content information on this email. That you can just read at your leisure. It's really nice to read, though, a piece from that every day. And I think it'll speak to everybody here a lot. So if you don't have that, get it. If you have it, start reading it again. Mine is all lined up. I read it all the time. And I make a point of doing some kind of inspirational reading every day. I think that's it. I'm so happy you're here. Let me know if you have any questions. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the next, 2 weeks. I think I'll be seeing you all, in the next 2 weeks. I'm so happy you're here. So happy you're here. You're in for such a treat. Sending you love and many blessings. Namaste.